Well, ahead, folks cleaning up from a deadly tornado outbreak, now bracing for flooding and more severe weather. A live report from the ground is coming up. And a Fox weather alert. It is a mess out west. Folks in the plains and Midwest are bracing for even more flooding and possible tornadoes. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, rescuers going door to door in an airboat to help people evacuate. And not far from Oklahoma City, homes have been falling into the water as the riverbanks kind of give way. Talk about teetering on the edge. One of the cities dealing with flooding is the capital of Missouri, Jefferson City, which is still cleaning up after a powerful EF3 tornado with winds up to 160 miles per hour tore through town. And that's where Matt Finn is reporting live on the ground. Matt.
Trace, adding to all that wild weather, right now the temperatures are flirting with a record high 91 degrees as people here go through the painful process of trying to assess what can be salvaged. All across this capital city, you can see the path of the tornado as it cut through this town, including right here, just a few blocks from the Capitol building itself. This row of homes just wrecked by tornadoes, roofs plucked off and walls caved in. Right now, fresh utility poles are going in, a welcome relief for neighbors here. And we spoke to one woman who tells us she hid by her bathtub and prayed to stay alive.
All of a sudden, I had a ceiling, and then all of a sudden, I could see this. But it was at night, so essentially I saw a tornado, which is also not very cool. That's creepy.
Happening right now, the Missouri governor says the Missouri River has crested here near Jefferson City and Boonville. The governor says right now it appears that the levees are holding up. Not far from here in St. Louis, the Mississippi River is closed for a 5-mile stretch. The National Guard telling Fox News it's just too dangerous for anyone to be on the river. And the National Guard and the Army Corps of Engineers also telling Fox News it is very concerned about all of the rain in the forecast in the coming days in this area. Trace.
Matt Finn live on the ground for us. Matt, thank you. Now to Rick Reichmuth. He's tracking the storm threat from the Fox Weather Center. Rick.
Hey, yeah, some of those rivers have had crests earlier in the season and come down, and now they're going to have another crest. So flooding a major concern, including the severe weather. Take a look at this. You can see where this is the last 48 hours, kind of from around D.C. up across parts of the Great Lakes, back down towards the southern high plains. And you notice down here across the southeast, nothing in the way of severe weather. And that's because that's part of the culprit for this pattern we're stuck in. And it's this incredibly strong area of high pressure that's centered across the southeast. It's been bringing record temperatures, and it's going to continue to stay that way all through this Memorial Day weekend. It feels much more like July than it does May. But back on this other side of this, that's where kind of the jet stream moves. And we're going to continue to see wave after wave of storms kind of line up in the same spot. Today, going from parts of Michigan back down across parts of West Texas. And we're going to see that tornado threat again. In fact, we have tornado watches in effect all across this area right now. And then tomorrow, an even bigger threat, and again in the exact same spot. Because of that, in addition to that tornado threat, we have the incredible flood threat. This is rain just in the last week. This has been a spot that over about the last 2 months has seen record-breaking rainfall. All that water has to go somewhere, and it's into all of these rivers that eventually go into the Mississippi River. But all of the rivers that lead into it are also in flood stage, and it's going to stay that way over the next week. More rain comes. This is through Monday, a big bullseye of rain here across southeastern Kansas. Then throughout the next part of much of the coming week, the rain continues to fall in the exact same spot, and we continue to be high and dry down across a lot of the southeast. Trace?
Yeah, you talk about all over the map, Rick, because, you know, we had a couple of feet of snow in the past week in the local mountains. And then you look at the southeast, as you said, facing a heat wave over Memorial Day weekend.
That's exactly it. I was out west last week. We had snow for a better part of 2 days in northern Arizona. And that's Arizona, not very typical for May. That cold butting up against this heat that's across parts of the west. And take a look at this. We're well above our average temperatures for May. Go to Atlanta, you should be at about 81 degrees. Take a look at your weekend here into the mid-90s. Same story goes for Charlotte. Same story goes down across Tampa, Montgomery, back in towards Jackson. You get the idea. Everybody into the mid-90s. Those temperatures, Trace, when they go day after day, it gets really hot and it starts to wear on you. And it is going to be a very long summer if this pattern continues to persist.
Yeah, hottest travel spot of the year, Central Florida. It's going to be hot down there. Rick Reichmuth live in the Weather Center. Rick.